Right now, as we speak, someone is probably lying to you. Maybe it happened on your way to work this morning, or hey, maybe it's happening right this very minute. And the worst part, you probably had absolutely no idea. But here is the fascinating truth. Their body already told you they were lying. You just didn't quite know what to look for yet. So by the end of this explainer, we're going to equip you with the exact behavioral science tools that FBI interrogators use to detect deception right to someone's face. And trust me, once you see these signs, you literally cannot unsee them, especially sign number 3, which almost everyone completely misses. Okay, let's just put the sheer scale of this into perspective. Whether it's a coworker taking credit for a project, a partner hiding something, or just someone trying to run a scam on you, lies happen every single day. Get this, studies actually show the average person is lied to anywhere from 10 to 200 times a day. 200 times. And the harsh reality is we miss almost all of them. But there's a biological reason we can actually learn to catch them, and it all starts with what's happening inside the human brain. You see, deception is incredibly hard work for the brain. When someone lies, they experience what behavioral scientists call cognitive load. Basically, their mind is suddenly forced to run two highly complex programs at the exact same time. First, they have to invent and construct a totally false story, but simultaneously, they have to carefully manage how they appear to you so they don't look suspicious. That intense mental burden, it's simply too much to contain perfectly. It involuntarily leaks out through their body language. And today, we are going to learn exactly how to read those leaks. All right, let's jump right into sign number 1, micro-expressions, or what I like to call the face's involuntary truth. These are those involuntary biological truths that the face just reveals, which were first famously discovered by psychologist Dr. Paul Ekman. They are practically impossible to fake and equally impossible to suppress. Why? Because the emotional center of our brain reacts so much faster than the thinking part can censor it. These true feelings flicker across a person's face in as little as 1/25th of a second. Literally, a blink and you miss it moment. Before they can slap on a fake smile, you might catch a flash of fear, where the corners of the mouth pull back and the eyes suddenly widen. Or maybe a flash of contempt, where just one side of the mouth curls up into this tiny, subtle smirk. Or disgust, where the nose wrinkles up and the upper lip tightens.
Now, to actually catch these lightning-fast leaks, you need a game plan. The absolute key here is timing. A microexpression is typically going to pop up right when you ask a sensitive question, just before the person has time to compose their fake response. So here's a massive pro tip for you. Ask a targeted question, and then just stop talking. Truly embrace the awkward silence. Just watch their face in that critical 1 to 2 second window before they start speaking. Because that tiny little gap in time, that is exactly where the truth lives.
Moving on to sign number 2, self-soothing gestures. This is all about how the body tries to calm the nervous system. So when someone tells a lie, their nervous system immediately flags it as a threat, causing their stress hormones to just absolutely spike. Because of this, the body goes into autopilot and tries to calm itself down, usually through physical touch. You'll want to keep an eye out for these involuntary tells. One of the absolute strongest is neck touching or rubbing, and there's a fascinating biological reason for this. The neck is packed with nerve endings, and rubbing it literally stimulates the vagus nerve, which physically forces the heart rate to slow down. Pretty wild, right? You might also see face touching, like subconsciously covering their mouth as if holding the lie back, rubbing their nose, or tugging an ear. Also watch out for hand wringing, like squeezing their own fingers, or sudden grooming movements. Needlessly adjusting a collar or suddenly smoothing down their hair.
But hold on, a quick caveat here. You absolutely cannot just look at a gesture in a vacuum. The most crucial step is establishing their baseline. You have to observe how someone naturally gestures when they're perfectly relaxed and telling you the truth. Once you know they're normal, you're looking for the deviation. A sudden, massive spike in self-touching right after you ask a pointed question, well, that is your stress reaction. That's your signal. Okay, let's hit sign number 3, the freeze response. And honestly, this is probably the most overlooked sign of them all. This brings us to a real pivot point in our detective journey. Earlier, I mentioned there's one sign that almost everyone misses. Well, this is it. It taps into a deeply primal survival instinct and totally shatters a massive misconception we all share. The myth is that liars are always fidgety, pacing around, sweating, acting nervous. And sure, maybe amateurs do that. But the reality? Experienced liars, or people under extreme high-stakes pressure, actually do the exact opposite. They freeze. Literally like a deer in headlights sensing a predator. The brain interprets the threat of getting caught as a mortal danger and forces the body to go completely still to avoid detection.
So what does this primal danger response actually look like in the real world? First, look for a sudden drop in gestures. If someone who normally talks with their hands suddenly glues them to their sides, take note. Their posture will become stiff and locked, shoulders squared. But here's the crazy part. Their blink rate dramatically drops. A normal, relaxed person blinks about 15 to 20 times a minute. But under the stress of a lie, they might stop blinking almost entirely, only for it to rapid-fire flutter once the lie is over and their brain decompresses. Even their normal head movements just stop. So the moment someone goes stone still after you ask a question, pay close attention. Their body is practically screaming that danger has been detected.
Next up is sign number 4, incongruence. This is when we see a complete mismatch between words and body language. Incongruence is exactly what it sounds like. It's when the words coming out of a person's mouth completely disconnect from their physical actions. When we're being honest, our words and our bodies are in perfect harmony. We say yes and we nod. Simple. But under deception, those two systems actually start fighting each other. Let's look at some classic examples of an honest physical signal slipping past a fake verbal claim. Someone says, "I didn't do it," but they give a tiny, slight shoulder shrug. That is the body involuntarily admitting uncertainty. Or they say, "I'm totally fine," but their arms are tightly crossed in front of them, building a literal physical barrier. Or they say yes, but their head gives this barely noticeable shake, no. Oh, and the classic fake smile. A genuine smile automatically activates the orbicularis oculi muscle around the eyes, giving you those natural crinkles. A fake smile, it only uses the mouth. The eyes stay totally flat and lifeless. And look, this isn't just theory. As researcher Albert Mehrabian famously proved, human communication is heavily dominated by tone and body language, not just the words we say. So when someone's words and their body are telling you two entirely different stories, who do you believe? You trust the body. Every single time. And finally, we reach sign number 5, eye behavior changes. Let's look at what the eyes actually reveal. Under intense pressure, a person's eyes undergo uncontrollable physical changes. But first, we have to clear up some terrible advice and bust another massive myth. We have all heard the old saying, liars always look away. Well, guess what? Because of that exact myth, experienced liars know exactly what you're expecting them to do. So in reality, they will unnaturally overcompensate. They will lock eyes with you and force this intense, unbroken eye contact to put on a performance of being totally authentic. Real, natural eye contact breathes. It comfortably comes and goes. So instead of just watching for them to look away, you need to look for physiological truths they simply cannot control. First up, pupil dilation. Under the severe stress of a high-stakes lie, a person's pupils will often visibly expand. Second, look out for eye blocking. These are sudden, unusually long blinks, or averting their eyes right at a very specific question. It's the brain literally trying to put up a blindfold to not see the threat in front of them. Also, pay attention to inconsistent gaze direction. If they always look up and to the left when recalling a true memory, but then suddenly look to the right when you ask where they were last night, that break in their established pattern is a massive red flag. All right, so we have our 5 signs. Let's open up the Master Toolkit and put all of this together. Knowing the 5 signs is a great start, but it's not quite the whole picture. Let's shift from theory to actual application and look at the exact framework used by FBI interrogators and behavioral analysts out in the real world. The absolutely most critical rule to remember is that body language is a cluster game. No single sign, not a shoulder shrug, not a weird blink, not a neck touch, is definitive proof of a lie all by itself. Professional deception detection relies entirely on finding clusters. You are looking for multiple nonverbal signals all firing off together in the exact same moment. So here is your master strategy, broken down into 4 incredibly clear steps. Step 1, establish that baseline. Observe how they act when they are completely relaxed and truthful. Step 2, ask your targeted question. And remember, embrace that silence right afterward. Step 3, watch for those clusters. Are they suddenly rubbing their neck while their blink rate drops while giving you a fake flat-eyed smile? And step 4, look for that sudden, sharp deviation from their normal baseline behavior. Keep in mind, your goal here isn't to just immediately point a finger and yell liar. Your goal is simply to know exactly when you need to dig a little deeper, ask some follow-up questions, and proceed with caution. You now have the framework to actually see the involuntary truth leaking out of the people around you. You can literally start observing the world like a real behavioral scientist. So I want to leave you with this thought to reflect on as you go about your day. Out of all 5 of the behavioral tells we explored in this explainer today, which sign completely surprised you the most? Keep those eyes open, always watch for those clusters, and I'll catch you in our next explainer.